Okay, so let's talk about the 10 saddest MMA moments in recent history. I feel like as MMA fans, there's higher highs and there's lower lows than fans of like basketball, football. You know, you're just putting the ball into a hoop, trying to get a ball across the end zone. You know, in MMA, we're seeing our favorite fighters get KO'd. So I feel like, it's a more emotional sport for the fans. So in this video, we're going to talk about the top 10 saddest MMA moments in recent history. All right, let's get into it. Number 10, Derek Lewis losing in Texas. Put myself right there. So Derek Lewis, he's a fan favorite. We all love him. He went on a streak for a little while where we were just getting KO'd in Texas. Of course, Derek Lewis is from Houston, Texas, so he gets a big reception over there. I remember the first one was the Cyril Gane fight, where it was an interim title fight in his hometown of Houston, and he landed like 3 strikes, got TKO'd, and it was just sad, right? To have that. Not a lot of fighters fight for titles in their hometowns. We see that very rarely. And then I remember he had like the towel over his head. It was just really sad, especially landing like 3 strikes. Then he fought in Dallas against Sergey Pavlovich, got KO'd in like a minute. And then before that, actually, he fought in Houston again against Tai Tuivasa. He got KO'd by an elbow. So it's very sad to see Derek Lewis lose. So that's on here. At number 10. Number 9, this one, do you guys remember this? Zhang Weili confused about getting booed. So I remember, I believe it was like the first fight back with fans, UFC 261, remember Usman Masvidal 2? And so Zhang Weili was fighting Rose, and I remember just before the fight, when they were introducing Zhang Weili, she just got these massive boos. Of course, being the Chinese fighter and Rose being the American, and Rose kind of has this weird fan base. And you can just see Zhang Weili was so confused about it. And I swear to God, that messed her up and her getting KO'd. And Zhang Weili, she's so nice, she's so wholesome. And I remember even in the rematch, it was in New York, she got booed again. And it just seemed like she was really confused and sad about getting booed. Zhang Weili, very friendly person. I don't think she really understood what was going on. And I swear that's part of the reason she got KO'd. She wasn't expecting it. And, that was just sad. All right, number 8, Chris Barnett's losses. Oh, God. Okay, so Chris Barnett, one of the heavyweight fighters, very, very, he's a fan favorite. He's a very jolly guy. I'm not just calling him jolly because he's fat. But, look, Chris Barnett, he seems like a really cool guy, really nice guy. And, he's won some fights in the UFC, but he's lost some fights in the UFC. And just recently, he had a long layoff. There was the Abu Dhabi card where he lost. And just seeing Chris Barnett lose is just sad, right? I remember in his last fight, he hurt his leg. And every time he took a step, damn near, every time he got kicked or punched, he was grimacing. And it just looked so painful. It looked like his leg had he broke something in his leg. And it was just painful as hell to even walk. I remember in one of his other losses against Martin Budai, I think, over here, he was just getting smothered against the cage, and he couldn't do anything about it. And then he took an illegal knee. That's not funny. It's just sad. And he took this illegal knee, and he was crying on the ground. And then I think in his other loss against Ben Rothwell, he almost had a heart attack. But it's really, I love Chris Barnett. He's a fun fighter. He seems like a really nice guy, and it's sad to see him lose, especially because his losses just look so painful. All right, that's number 8. Number 7 is Tuivasa's downfall. So again, we're seeing a theme here of, friendly fan favorite heavyweights, losing. And I believe Tuivasa's on a 5-fight losing streak. So, that was really sad. He almost beat Cyril Gane. He would have fought John Jones for the title. And now he's on a 5-fight losing streak. He's been finished. And he's lost in Australia, which is his home country. So it's been sad to see, right? I'm not really sure where he's going to go from here, but it's sad. It's always sad to see our favorite heavyweights lose. All right, what else we have? Oh God, Petr Yan's losing streak. So this one was really sad. There was a moment in time. It's not as sad now because he's recovered from this losing streak, but this is at its peak of its sadness. So he has recovered, and you'll see a few of these where they have recovered. But we're thinking peak sadness. So Petr Yan's losing streak, of course, there's the flying knee, which is sad. He was easily going to beat Aljamain Sterling in that first fight, and then he illegally knees him. Then in the rematch, we all know he was the better fighter, but he lost. He got taken down flukily, fluke takedowns. And then the O'Malley fight, he gets robbed. Let's be real, it was close. It was close, but that was a robbery. And then in the Merab fight, no one even knows what happened. He defends like 50 takedowns, gets 50-45. And it's just sad because we knew how good Petr Yan was. We know how good he is. And to see a fighter like that go on a 3-fight losing streak where he still... I don't know. The Merab fight was just weird. It was just confusing. Yan, of course, is a fan favorite, cool guy. This was just sad, especially as a fan of Petr Yan, to see him go on this losing streak in the prime of his career. Especially because getting brutally robbed. The fight against Aljo, we know he's the better fighter, but he just got tripped up on a takedown. And then the Merab one was just confusing as hell. So he has recovered, but it was sad. This was another one where Dominic Ryes has recovered. He's on a 2-fight winning streak, but at the peak of his downfall, it was quite sad. Almost beating Jones, getting robbed. And then just the loss streak he was on was really just disturbing. I mean, the lost to Jan Blachowicz, getting knocked out. I remember that gash on his ribs from the body kicks. The Yuri one, the Yuri KO, was one of the most brutal KOs you'll ever see. And then the Ryan Spann one, that was just odd. I mean, I really thought he was going to beat Ryan Spann, but then he gets KO'd by like a jab in like the first minute, and that was a really brutal KO. I mean, he slumped, and that was a strange one. Now, he has recovered. He is on a 2-fight win streak, but at the peak of the sadness, this was pretty sad. I mean, Dominic, all these fighters are fan favorites. Dominic Ryes, cool guy, and it was a sad losing streak to see. All right, what else we have? Oh God, this is a bad one. Volkanovski's downfall. Of course, Volkanovski, another fan favorite, another one of the greatest all time, one of the best fighters in the UFC. It's just sad to see. He takes the Islam Makhachev fight on short notice. Terrible decision, right? You can't beat him on a full camp in your own country. How are you going to be able to beat him on short notice? Gets KO'd in the first couple minutes by Makhachev, then he's crying, or not crying, but he's emotional at the post-fight press conference where, he's saying not having fights lined up, dude does his head in, and then he turns around quickly versus Topuria. He looks alright in that fight, but then he gets KO'd, out cold, and, it's just sad to see such a quick downfall. Maybe there's a chance he gets it back, but at his age it's going to be tough, but we'll see. But definitely a sad downfall of Volkanovski to see what has happened. All right. Oh God, Li Jingliang. Oh God. So this is a more of an intricate one. Li Jingliang, one of the friendliest, nicest guys. So this is September 2022. He's gonna fight Tony Ferguson, and in the build-up, he's saying, "I respect Tony Ferguson. I don't even want to KO him. I want to go to a war with him." And then we know what happens. Khamzat Chimaev misses weight. Chimaev, Holland, Diaz, Ferguson, Li Jingliang. I'm getting ahead of myself. On Embedded, he gets a nice suit, custom-made suit, probably like $1,000 suit. He says he's excited for the press conference. I think this picture was from like right before the press conference when they're walking out to it, and the press conference gets canceled. Big moment for Li Jingliang. He was super excited. It gets canceled. So then he has to fight Daniel Rodriguez, not as big of a name as Tony, harder fight, 10 pounds less. He's 10 pounds less than D-Rod, because I remember Rodriguez Holland was at 180 and Jingliang Tony was at 170. He beats Daniel Rodriguez. He gets brutally robbed, and it was so sad. And then I think he booked a fight like a few months later. They gave him a jump up. I think it was against Michael Chiesa, and then he like breaks his back. I don't even know what happened. He like broke his spine. It got like a brutal injury. He like broke his spine, broke his back, something like that. And then he comes back like 2 years later versus Carlos Prates and just gets destroyed, gets KO'd. And that's it for Li Jingliang. I mean, that is sad. He would have easily beaten Tony Ferguson. He probably would have gotten a jump up the rankings. The suit, and then it's just sad. So we love Li Jingliang, but it's just a sad thing. 2, Conor McGregor, so definitely different than Li Jingliang, but I remember, it's sad to see what's happened with McGregor, right? The sport's just better with him in it. Getting slumped by Poirier, getting, what happened in the rematch? Snapping his leg, snapping his foot, his ankle, whatever it was. I could have put Michael Chandler in this list for, thinking he's going to get the McGregor fight. But then obviously the outside the octagon stuff, right? A lot of bad things going on for him outside the octagon. Getting sued left and right, court case left and right. It doesn't seem like his octagon return is anywhere in sight, and it's just last few years. Like remember in 2021, beginning of 2021, we thought, McGregor's easily going to smoke Poirier. He was like minus 400. Then he's going to fight for the title. He's going to get the 170 belt. He might even get Khabib back. Like, think of where we were in 2021, right before the Poirier fight. No one thought we would have been here. We thought he was easily just gonna, get back into the sport, get the belt. And even after the second Poirier fight, if he beat Poirier the third time, we would have had McGregor Oliveira. But no, his leg had to snap. It's just been sad, right? It's just been sad. And then number one, I'm sure you guys can all guess. Jesus Christ! I mean, it's Tony Ferguson. This even feels like strange to talk about. I don't even want to talk about this, but the Khabib fight gets canceled 5 times. Tony Ferguson, of course, is a fan favorite. We all love Tony. And just what's he on? An 8-fight losing streak? 9? 10? 7? No, it can't be 7. 8 maybe. And just gets smoked by Gaethje. It's a bad loss. Takes a ton of damage. Loses to Oliveira. Loses to Dariush. After the Dariush loss, all right, you just know he has no future as a contender. No chance to get to the belt. Then he knocks down Chandler in the first round. Then he gets brutally KO'd in the second. Then the Diaz fight, it just looks so slow and so bad. Then what else? I don't even know. The Bobby Green fight, the Paddy Pimblett fight. I mean, I was still deluding myself to think he could win these fights. I picked him against Paddy Pimblett. He actually looked all right in the Paddy Pimblett fight. Just a really sad downfall, especially to not get the Khabib fight. But look, I mean, Tony Ferguson, a legend. We all love Tony, and he'll go down as one of the best lightweights in his prime, and a fan favorite. So yeah, that's my top 10 list. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you would have added. Let me know what you disagree